This is the most important part. This was right after she was saying, we are run by ABC News. You should trust us, not Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. So she by saying we should trust them because they're double-checked by ABC News, and then making the stupidest statement. Like, you didn't listen to what I said.
Yeah.
You didn't listen to what the wildlife biologist, and that's only a part of what he said.
I can't believe
the other
Joy
part of what he
Behar
said
didn't
was
wait.
there was something before that where he was explaining encounters with giant reptiles. And then there's also, listen,
It doesn't make sense to me that a middle-aged woman could be dumb.
when you're worried about losing your job and you're worried about podcasts taking over and who's the source of news, and we said Donald Trump is Hitler, but half the country disagreed with us and he won, and this is and Joe Rogan believes in dragons. It's just frantic.
Joe Rogan just hit The View with a $100 million lawsuit. And honestly, Sonny Hostin's eyebrows might still be in recovery mode. But this isn't just some legal back and forth. It's a full-on roast. And Joe walked in swinging. What sparked the fire? Simple. The View couldn't keep their mouths shut, and now it's daytime TV versus a man with zero patience for BS. And let's be real, Rogan didn't come to play nice. This thing is messy, loud, and only getting wilder. So yes, grab the popcorn, and because this courtroom drama, it's about to go full savage.
So, apparently Joe Rogan has the most popular podcast on Spotify, and he's repeatedly spread COVID misinformation and invited guests on to do the same.
I agree that Joe Rogan is a horror. I mean, I'm not saying that Joe Rogan should be removed from Spotify. He's got 11 million listeners. He's got a $100 million, contract as of 2020. But I do think as the podcast platform, you have to have some sort of guidelines. How about a disclaimer on his podcast that says, this is misinformation?
You know, things have seriously gone off the rails when Joe Rogan drops a $100 million lawsuit. And somehow that's not even the craziest part. The real show, it kicked off right after, when Rogan torched The View from his podcast chair like it was open mic night for unfiltered truth. He didn't hold back, just lit them up like he was breaking down a bad group therapy session run by folks who skim headlines and call it journalism.
That's why people like our show, because they know that we are checked by ABC News. But
We're checked by everybody.
Yeah, I mean, if we're wrong, we have, the legal note here.
The human legal.
But we went from Walter Cronkite, basically, to this guy Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons. I checked it. He believes in dragons. He believes in dragons.
Did you triple source that?
Yes, I did. And he also thinks that dragons, like dinosaur-y type of animals, roamed the earth when people did.
Let's roll it back to where this whole dumpster fire kicked off, in that familiar daytime bubble of outrage where the coffee's stale and the facts are more of a suggestion. Yep, The View, the same table where nuance checks out early, thought it'd be smart to take another jab, and who'd they pick this time? Joe Rogan, a guy whose fan base could fill nations and whose patience for BS is sitting somewhere near absolute zero.
I had to read the thing about The View because I just thought it was funny.
What's
That's
the
the
View?
only reason why I read that about me.
Dragon lover.
Joy Behar was trying to say that I believe in dragons.
Wait, what is this? I just
She
heard
said,
about
I checked it. And the lady goes, did you double check this? She goes, I checked it. He believes in dragons.
Should be like,
you think they lived
Sasquatch,
alongside
bitch.
of people?
Wait,
It was from a wildlife biologist who came on my podcast. It was from Forrest Gallant.
Sonny Hostin, always ready to turn a half-baked take into primetime drama, decided to toss out an accusation that didn't just rub Rogan the wrong way. It landed straight in lawsuit territory. And just like that, his legal team had a fresh reason to clear their schedules. But nah, Rogan didn't show up in person to trade jabs. That would have been way too generous. Instead, he did what he does best. Slid on the headphones, leaned into the mic, and dropped a verbal nuke right from the studio.
Hey, Megan, I get it. I also hate Joy Behar. So I don't love you, but I also hate that squawking bird. So I hate the whole thing. And frankly, that show, you want to talk about a show that set women back, is The View. You want to talk about that show. If the CIA is engineering, Antifa and the Capitol riot, some crazy misogynist engineered The View, because there's nothing worse than The View. In terms of there are so many brilliant women out there. None of them are on The View. None of them have gone near the set of The View. I mean, they have brought in the lowest tier of the, what is it, the Y chromosome?
No, double
The
X.
Okay.
Double X.
They brought in the lowest of the double X's for that one. It's
Yeah.
rough.
Yeah, did you watch the episode when Tulsi Gabbard got on to defend herself and Joy Behar starts panicking and going over her notes while Tulsi's refuting everything that she said?
Yeah, I mean, Joy Behar, like, again, these people have dementia. These are people who, like, should not be allowed out of the house. They have a national platform.
The View came for Rogan hard, and this time it wasn't gonna be one of those slap on the wrist debates that wraps up before the next ad break. He didn't just clap back, he torched the whole set in a raw, no filter, fully caffeinated rant. Rogan shredded their credibility like it was made of cheap paper. He dragged their weak arguments, mocked the fake outrage, and carved through their smugness like he was doing surgery with a machete. And Sonny, radio silence. Not a peep after that lawsuit dropped. You could almost hear her legal team begging, please don't poke the bear again, which, let's be honest, is impressive considering those ladies haven't kept a thought to themselves since the 90s. What made the takedown even colder was Rogan didn't have to shout. No studio crowd, no dramatic buildup, just a mic, some receipts, and that calm energy of someone who's not gunning for a daytime Emmy. Instead of throwing jabs, he broke their whole narrative apart, like a wobbly IKEA bookshelf missing screws. And let's face it, a spine. And the lawsuit, that wasn't some celebrity hissy fit. It was $100 million power move that basically said you can't just talk wild on national TV and think there won't be fallout, which apparently is news to The View.
The question is then, is that representative of a big constituency? I think probably yes.
Well, a lot of
MSNBC
people,
viewers are probably also thinking,
I don't even think the MSNBC viewers. I think
that's
they're a
too
little bit
far.
more sophisticated than that.
Yeah.
This is like low information, blue no matter who, like older housewives who are mad at the world. That's the appeal that Whoopi Goldberg has. Does Whoopi have children?
No idea.
It's interesting too, like really politically motivated older women who don't have children.
Yeah.
They're very specific. Like you can kind of guess the way they think.
Rogan's legal team came in like a UFC strike. Sharp, calculated, and brutal. They didn't just say the comments were off. They called them what they were. Straight up defamation. Not bad phrasing. Not poor taste. Actual damage to reputation. To business deals. To how the public sees him. And look, Rogan's no stranger to drama, but this wasn't just another headline moment. This was personal. This was about someone crossing the line, and when Rogan thinks you've done that, he doesn't just call you out. He grabs the mic, fires up the digital flamethrower, and live streams your reputation going up in smoke. The View had no clue what hit them. 1 second they're tossing around their usual warmed up takes. The next they're starring in Rogan's worldwide roast. He didn't just respond, he threw an event, filled the seats, and turned their segment into a blueprint for what not to say when someone can afford lawyers with GDP-sized billing. And the internet? Oh, it did what it does best. Twitter lit up with Rogan memes. Sonny Hostin's name trending right under how to get sued in 5 words. Reddit went wild. YouTubers broke records just reacting to it. Meanwhile, The View went silent. No clapback, no spin, just that awkward vacuum of PR damage control happening somewhere behind a locked door.
Well, their audience is not really their audience. Their audience is a group of people they bring in to watch television shows. You know, I don't know if you've ever seen audiences before for TV shows, but a lot of them are paid. They're paid to be there. So, because they have to guarantee that there's going to be people there. So there's services that you hire. And when a show gets really, really popular, you know, like Letterman or something like that, obviously it has its own fan base.
Right.
And those people will try to get tickets before anybody else does. And in that case, they probably don't need to use a service anymore. They just get actual fans. But arguably, like the fans, the real fans of The View that are like, oh, these ladies are on point. Most of those people can't leave the house. Like they're probably immobile.
Sonny Hostin, usually bold, loud, and ready with a hot take, went dead quiet like a kid caught with their hand in the cookie jar. It was like watching a peacock forget how to strut. And that silence, it only gave Rogan more fuel. Every podcast, every offhand mention, he kept piling on, torching what was left of The View's credibility without even trying. No hype, no drama, just facts, timing, and a spotlight. And the wild part? He didn't even need to stretch the truth. He just lined up the receipts, let the story speak for itself, and in the process, reminded millions why they'd rather listen to his raw, unfiltered thoughts than anything coming from a scripted panel show. The irony couldn't be thicker. This is a group that built their careers calling people out, but the second they became the target, they ducked and disappeared. Suddenly, that defamation hit a little too close. And now, the bigger question hangs in the air. Where's the line between calling someone out and straight up slander? When does opinion cross into legal territory? And why does The View keep acting like holding a mic equals immunity? Rogan's stance was crystal clear. You don't get to spin your own version of reality and expect it to stick, especially not when you're throwing shots at someone whose influence goes way beyond your echo chamber. And then silence. Not the usual dramatic pause before another rant, but a full-blown vanishing act. Sonny, who never skips a chance to grandstand, suddenly found value in keeping quiet. No fiery rebuttal, no slick legal statement, no passionate monologue wrapped in activism. Just nothing. It felt like watching a fire alarm grow legs and sprint out the building while the whole place went up in flames.
Joe Rogan here. Did you see Joe Rogan, who believes in dragons, I guess? According to Joy Behar, he changed his X profile. Did you see this?
That. I did see that.
It now just simply says dragon believer. He had talked about dragons on the show. It's, the thing of it is, you take anything out of context and you can make fun of it and mock it. And so, let's do that. It goes without saying, Joe Rogan, how many times more intelligent do you think Joe Rogan is than Joy Behar? What?
Infinite.
Multiple?
Infinite.
6 times, 8 times, 12 times, 30. It's like a math problem you can't solve. You could fit 35 of Joy Behar's brains into Joe Rogan's cranium and he would lose IQ points. But people believe dumb.
Let's be real. When The View decides to go silent after getting slapped with a $100 million lawsuit, that's not some calculated PR move. It's a white flag. They've gone full mime while Rogan's out here shouting through a gasoline-soaked megaphone. It's like showing up to a duel only to realize the other side already dug their own grave and labeled it whoops. And that silence, it's doing them zero favors. If anything, it's made Rogan's takedown blow up even more. Every day, they don't speak. His clips keep getting reposted, turned into memes, and treated like leaked Drake tracks on Reddit. Honestly, he could have dropped it as a Netflix special and cracked the top 10 by now. Meanwhile, Sonny Hostin, the one who's usually first in line with a smug monologue and 3 pages of clapback, is nowhere to be found. Feels like ABC locked her in a room with Oprah reruns and white noise, just praying she doesn't say anything else. Because when a lawsuit this massive drops on the table, you don't argue. You shut up, lawyer up, and pray the Wi-Fi cuts out before the world hears what you said. And as Rogan's roast keeps spreading like a gender reveal wildfire in dry season, The View's reputation is caving under the weight of its own irrelevance. People are finally realizing the show's less about real insight and more like watching a live Twitter fight moderated by your aunt who thinks crystals can cure. Wi-Fi lag.
I mean, in fairness, though, I mean, The View has to be, if you average out The View hosts, among the dumbest people on television. And so it's like they say the thing that people are thinking, but they say it very directly, so they expose whatever truth. But
I don't think some of them are dumb.
You don't think so?
No, I don't think Sonny Hostin.
You think it's deliberate?
I think she's ideologically driven, and they have blinders on, for sure. I don't think Sonny's dumb. But Whoopi is certainly not the brightest person, and what she just said just doesn't make any sense. It's just like so silly to say. It's not a well thought out. It's like if you had an idea for a premise and it was totally baked and half baked, and you went on stage with it and it's nothing.
Just
there.
go for it.
Let's talk scale, because yeah, it matters. Joe Rogan's podcast doesn't just reach people, it practically hardwires itself into their brains. We're talking 11 million listeners per episode. That's not a podcast, that's a digital empire. Meanwhile, The View, they're basically yelling across a food court and hoping someone other than the janitor looks up. It's the difference between a SpaceX rocket launch and a 6th grade volcano project made of baking soda and shattered hopes. Legacy media, wheezing along in the form of The View, still runs on applause signs, sound bites, and the belief that no one's fact-checking in real time. They act like it's still 2006, tossing out claims like people can't pause and Google mid-sentence. Meanwhile, Rogan's out here hosting marathon brain battles with everyone from scientists to skeptics, and somehow making more sense than anyone lounging around that cursed coffee table. This lawsuit, it's not just about ego or image, it's a cultural mic drop, a giant "I'm here and I brought proof" right in the middle of legacy media's forehead. And instead of a press release, he drops a 3-hour podcast breaking it all down, because let's be honest, people are done with chopped up outrage from TV hosts who act like they're auditioning for a live-action Mean Girls brunch edition. What they want is real conversation, actual thought, or at the very least, something that doesn't feel like a group therapy circle run by your mom's Facebook friends.
Very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
That's sort of, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart, but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course. They do everything with an agenda.
Yeah.
This whole mess isn't just a lawsuit, it's a cultural fist bump to every viewer who's ever side-eyed The View, acting like it speaks for all women, all liberals, or anyone who's read a book cover to cover. Rogan didn't just fire back, he filed paperwork, dropped a podcast breakdown, and watched them crumble like patio chairs in a windstorm. And the beauty of it, The View can't even twist it into one of those teachable moments. No heartfelt, let's grow from this segment. No emotional fade in from commercial with Sunny blinking through soft lighting, just silence. That tense, motionless kind that screams, "We screwed up, and we're hoping nobody breathes." Meanwhile, Rogan's out here taking down relics of mainstream media with a mic, Spotify bandwidth, and mushroom tea, probably while interviewing a guy who lived in a cave for 3 years. He's doing cultural jujitsu while The View fumbles with the remote. This isn't a battle, it's evolution. The balance has shifted, the crowd's already made up its mind, and unless The View plans to rebrand as The Apology, this might go down as their most watched segment that never actually aired. Let's be real, this isn't an even match. Rogan's platform is a global force. The View? That's just a televised group chat where logic goes to nap. Comparing the two is like putting a Tesla next to a squeaky tricycle with one wheel about to fall off.
It is the show that people love to hate.
Yes, that's true. That's true.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
Rogan's audience didn't just back him, they turned the internet into a battlefield on his behalf. Comments, clips, edits, flying everywhere. Digital justice served up fast and loud. Sure, The View might have a morning slot, but Rogan, he runs the algorithm. And the coldest part? He never sat across from them, never stepped on their stage, didn't even bother with face-to-face. That's what made it brutal. He took them down from a distance, like a sniper with a mic. And this isn't just about Sunny Hostin saying something dumb. That's a regular Tuesday. This is about consequences. Maybe the lawsuit ends with a settlement. Maybe it drags out in court with ferns in the corner and theme music in the background. Doesn't matter. Rogan's already won the bigger battle. He didn't just file a case. He humiliated them, not with noise, but with sharp, clear logic delivered in a tank top layered in sarcasm. And by doing that, he sent a message to every over-caffeinated media pundit holding a mic. Your words carry weight, and some of them come with a $100 million price tag.
Doesn't The View have any trans women on it?
Great point. It has a lot of women that look trans, but none of them... It has a lot of second and third takes. After a drink, you'd go, huh? But it doesn't have a ton of,
But hey, maybe Sunny still gets a comeback. Who knows? Maybe next week she kicks things off with a bold theory about astrophysics or claims gravity's just conservative propaganda. Wouldn't be the first time The View tried to rebrand chaos as commentary. But until then, she might want to give that next monologue a second look, especially the fine print where legal quietly advises maybe don't swing at the guy with a golden mic and a Spotify empire. Meanwhile, Joe's just gonna keep doing his thing, talking, questioning, cracking jokes, and every so often vaporizing someone with what feels like a verbal airstrike. No cue cards, no filter, no survivors.